What's up, y'all? It's Dr. Paul with a top 25 list for Liberty Hill Comics, where I share my passion and over 40 years' experience comic book collecting, investing, and conservation with you. This is part one of a two-part top 25 countdown video featuring AllStar Comics from my personal collection. Being from the golden age of comic books, these are all rare and valuable books. How rare? They average around 60 universal copies in the CGC census, and all have fewer than 100 universal copies in the census. How valuable? Most have a fair market value over $1,000, and at least one has a fair market value likely in excess of $20,000. This is the video regular viewers of the channel have been asking for a while. Many of you know one of my life goals is to collect the original Golden Age run of AllStar Comics, home of the Justice Society of America. In these two videos, I'm going to reveal just how far along I am, and we are even going to see how my collection stacks up against others in the CGC Registry. But before we get to our main topic, I want to remind everyone that we are closing in on our goal of 1,000 subscribers, and in appreciation of subscribers new and old, I'm giving away this copy of Star Wars #1 in CGC 7.5 with white pages. This is the first appearance of Luke, Leia, Vader, R2, 3PO, and a host of others, as well as the first cover appearance of Obi-Wan and Han Solo. It was published 6 weeks before A New Hope opened in theaters in 1977. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel and follow the link over to that video to comment there for a chance to win. A little background is in order for those not familiar with AllStar Comics or the Justice Society of America. These comics were all published 70 to 80 years ago, so it's understandable if some of the JSA's exploits are not widely known today. AllStar Comics featured the first appearance of the first superhero team in all of comic books, the Justice Society of America. The JSA first appeared in issue number 3 of AllStar Comics in 1940 and headlined the title for 11 years, until issue number 57 in March of 1951. AllStar Comics is one of the most important and influential of Golden Age comic book series and is highly sought after by Golden Age collectors. AllStar Comics has several big key issues in addition to the first appearance of the JSA, including the first female superheroine in all of comic books, Hawkgirl, the first time Batman and Superman ever meet, and the first appearance of Wonder Woman. It also includes first appearances of villains Brainwave, the Psycho Pirate, the Wizard, Perdegaton, the Injustice Society, and the Alchemist. Issue number 57, the last issue, is the first and only appearance of the villainous Key, as well as the last Golden Age appearance of Dr. Midnight, the Flash, and Green Lantern. Many people consider the publication of issue number 57 of AllStar Comics to be the end of the golden age of comic books. With that background, let's get started. We're going to do this countdown style, but I don't have a copy of number 57 yet, so the first book for today, at number 25 on the list, is AllStar Comics number 56 from December-January 1950-1951 in CGC 8.5 with cream to off-white pages. There are only 39 universal copies in the CGC census with a median grade of 5.5. At 8.5, this copy ranks at the 18th percentile, and there are only 5 higher in the census. So this one definitely qualifies as high grade. These later issues were published bi-monthly and consisted of 52 pages, and were cut slightly narrower than early issues, although they are just as tall. Art Petty provided cover art for the last 9 issues of AllStar Comics, including this one. Next up, at number 24 in the list, is AllStar Comics number 55 from October-November 1950. It's a raw, lower grade copy that I hope to upgrade one day. It may be difficult to find a high grade copy because there are only 35 universal copies in the CGC census, with a median grade of 5.5. Note the sci-fi covers for the first two comic books in our countdown that are indicative of the late Golden Age post-war period. I should probably clean this one up and slab it so it can count toward my collection in the CGC Registry, and to make it a bit easier to pass on to another collector when I find a higher grade for my personal collection in the future. At number 23 on the list, we have AllStar Comics number 54 from August-September 1950 in CGC 7.5 with cream to off-white pages. This issue also has only 35 universal copies in the CGC census with a median grade of 5.5. There are 7 higher in the census, but this one presents extremely well with rich, vibrant ink and colors and very few visible flaws on this great, whimsical Art Petty cover featuring the JSA at the circus. Next up, at number 22 in our countdown, we have AllStar Comics number 52 from April-May 1950 in CGC 8.5 with off-white pages, featuring another great sci-fi cover by Art Petty. There are only 24 universal copies in the CGC census, making it the rarest issue of AllStar Comics by the census count, and it has a median grade of 6.5. There are 3 higher in the census, so this copy is tied with a few others in my collection as my second highest ranked comic book within the CGC census. At number 21 in our list, we have another lower grade raw book I'm happy to have as a filler in my collection pending finding a decent deal on a high grade copy. It's issue number 51 from February-March of 1950, featuring another great sci-fi cover by Art Petty. It may take me a while to find a suitable upgrade, because there are only 26 universal copies in the CGC census, with a median grade of only 5.0. But then again, the hunt is most of the fun. At number 20 on the countdown is another raw book in lower grade, filling in the spot for issue number 48 while I seek a higher grade copy. It's the August-September 1949 issue, featuring an Irwin Hasson cover, and although the cover doesn't scream sci-fi, the story is about time travel, so there was a strong sci-fi theme in these post-war adventures of the JSA. This is another book that will likely be a struggle to find in high grade. There are only 33 universal copies in the CGC census, with a median grade of only 4.5, the lowest median grade of any issue of AllStar in the census. Making the list at number 19 is issue 45 from February-March of 1949 in CGC 8.0 with off-white pages. The Irwin Hasson cover features, well, you guessed it, a sci-fi bondage scene, although odd to see a bondage cover in which Wonder Woman is featured prominently and not involved somehow in the bondage. I guess by 1949, Charles Moulton was already 2 years deceased, and the new writers didn't always have Diana as on brand as he did. There are only 31 universal copies in the CGC census with a median grade of 6.0. This 8.0 ranks 22nd percentile, with only 5 graded higher. Pretty impressive for this all-black cover. And that is a good segue to number 18 on the list, my highest graded copy of AllStar Comics, issue number 43 from October-November 1948 in CGC 9.0 with off-white pages. This issue is the first with the new logo that the series used through to the end, and also features a great sci-fi cover with a giant robot by Irwin Hasson. This issue is relatively plentiful in the CGC census at 59 universal copies. This 9.0 ranks at the 12th percentile, with only 2 higher in the census, making this issue both my highest graded and highest ranked in the census from my AllStar Comics collection. Coming in at number 17 is AllStar Comics number 38 in CGC 7.0 with off-white to white pages. It's the December-January 1947-1948 issue featuring an Alex Toth cover, and is the issue Black Canary saves the entire JSA and is subsequently invited to join. There are 58 universal copies in the CGC census with a median grade of 6.0. This one presents really well and is one of only 2 covers Alex Toth did for the series, the other being issue 41, which I do not yet have a copy of in my collection. For those that don't know, Alex Toth worked for DC as an illustrator in the Golden Age, before becoming a design artist and storyboarder for Hanna-Barbera. He's probably best known as the creator of Space Ghost. I think his 2 All-Star covers are some of the best in the entire series. At number 16 in our countdown is AllStar Comics number 35 in CGC 7.0 with off-white to white pages. It's the June-July 1947 issue featuring the first appearance of Perdegaton. The cover is drawn by Irwin Hasson, the most prolific of the AllStar Comics cover artists. He penciled 14 covers in the series, more by a long shot than any other artist, and nearly 25% of the entire series has cover art by Irwin Hasson. This one is one of his best and has been homaged many times. We love to see the first appearance of a character correspond with their first cover appearance, and it's rare in the Golden Age. But we get exactly that here, making this a great key for the JSA's Rogues Gallery. There are 61 universal copies in the CGC census with a relatively high median grade of 6.5. Speaking of great cover appearances, number 15 in our countdown is AllStar Comics number 33, the February-March 1947 issue, famous for this Solomon Grundy cover by Irwin Hasson. Solomon Grundy is primarily a Green Lantern rogue in the Golden Age, and has only 4 total appearances and only 2 cover appearances in the Golden Age, so this classic cover appearance is quite sought after by Solomon Grundy collectors. This copy, at 5.5 with off-white pages, has never been cleaned, and I think would benefit greatly from a crack clean and resubmit to CGC. One thing I would preserve if I were to clean this book is the penciled-in date on the upper left, indicating that this book hit the newsstands the day after Christmas, 12/26/1946. There are 85 universal copies in the CGC census with a median grade of 5.0, and there are another 15 restored copies, 1 signature, and 1 conserved copy, bringing the total census count over at CGC for this classic cover key to a little over 100, owing to the popularity of Solomon Grundy. At number 14 on the list, we have issue 31 in CGC 8.5 with cream to off-white pages, and it's in the old school original CGC holder to boot. According to the CGC database, it was slabbed 20 years ago in 2003. It features the first Martin Nadell cover art in our countdown. It's also got a D penciled in the upper left corner. Could it be one of the stolen books from the famous Davis Crippen D pedigree, slabbed before CGC started recognizing pedigrees? I think it unlikely. I've looked at quite a few covers of books from the Crippen pedigree, and I don't think this D matches Davis's. Safe to say this copy, slabbed in 2003, has never been cleaned or pressed as well. An oddly abundant issue in the CGC census, there are 70 universal copies with a median grade of 5.5. This copy, at 8.5, ranks at the 7th percentile, with only 3 graded higher in the entire census. Number 13 in our countdown is AllStar Comics issue 29 from June-July 1946 in CGC 7.5 with off-white to white pages. Another old slab. This one was encapsulated in May of 2001, just months after CGC opened their doors, and their grader's notes indicate several pressable defects, so this could also be a candidate for a grade bump with a crack, press, and resubmit. This one features another Martin Nadell cover and is a sci-fi tale featuring time travel as the main theme. There are 56 universal copies in the CGC census with a very high median grade of 7.5. Coming in at number 12 in the countdown is issue 28. This one is a raw copy that I estimate at about 7.5. With a publication date of April-May 1946 and featuring a Martin Nadell cover and, you guessed it, a sci-fi tale featuring time travel. There are 47 universal copies in the CGC census with a high median grade of 6.5. I need to do a light clean and press on this copy and send it off for slabbing so that it will count toward my CGC Registry collection of AllStar Comics because it's really a nice raw copy. At number 11 in the countdown is AllStar Comics issue 26 in CGC 8.0 with off-white to white pages. It's the fall 1945 issue with a Joe Gallagher cover featuring a story about invaders from Jupiter. Although CGC designates it as a robot cover, technically this fellow towering over the JSA is a native Jovian, not a robot at all. This issue is notable for being one of only 3 issues of AllStar Comics to feature the All-American logo rather than the DC logo during their brief split before the companies merged. In fact, the entire interior of the book had to be touched up to replace Starman with Green Lantern and the Spectre with the Flash because of the conflict between MC Gaines and DC at the time. It's technically the first post-war issue of AllStar, and there are 64 universal copies in the CGC census with a median grade of 5.0. This 8.0 ranks at the 19th percentile with 8 copies graded higher. This one has never been cleaned or pressed and has potential to grade much higher. That concludes part 1 of my top 25 issues of AllStar Comics, which means part 2 will be my top 10 issues. I'm happy to be able to share my collection with you, and I'm humbled to be the current caretaker of these historic treasures. It's an embarrassment of riches to be able to acquire so many old funny books, and I'm filled with gratitude every time I review my collection. By the way, many of these issues I've done unboxing videos for, and I go into a lot more detail on the story, the art, and the fair market value of the issues in those. I've created a playlist for those that want to check out those more in-depth videos, and if you're interested, just click the link to go to that list. In part 2 of this video, in addition to covering the top 10 issues of my collection, I'll also go over the CGC Registry, what it is, how you can enter a collection into the registry, why you might want to, and where my AllStar Comics collection ranks among the great AllStar Comics collections in the CGC Registry. You won't want to miss it. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, happy hunting and take care of one another.